This is Gerald Juan van Was and the Educational Channel, related with the book Sound in Form. The book is about the meanings of letters and sounds, and you will prove that there is a specific method that you can learn to analyze this, and that will prove that there is a natural order of preference in this, so that we actually deliberately or undeliberately choose letters and letter combinations that fit to the meanings of the intended words, and the method learns you to change it into a form and to a meaning, so that you can unravel what is lying behind this. The book is out on Trafford. It is also distributed well. It's also in two separate volumes: the development of the word and the application of the word. The first book is about the theory with some examples and how it's built up, and with some proofs how you have to associate it, and so you can learn this method thoroughly by simply following what is written there. The application of the word are more linguistic studies, but also comparisons to other scripts, and they try to discover what is guiding actually certain old scripts and what is behind them. And the meaning of sounds helps very much to analyze this, and it also proves that there is probably also a deliberate forming of language with associations that deal with the meaning of sounds, and also some associations that guide you to pinpoint into the right direction. One of these studies I will resume in this video, and it will be an addition to the book The Application of the Word. And the wheel of signs that I used for it was a Futomani wheel. It is originated into studies that you can find mostly only in Japanese, unfortunately. But I know which letters they are. I know where it is on the wheel. I know how it is associated. I can analyze the forms quite easily. So even with just knowing how the letter sounds combinations, what they mean, I can already understand the full scheme. And so I'll make a very quick review and resume of what is behind it. And I first made about 4 videos about this, and it was in total over about 1 hour and a half. I think that was a bit too long, so I will resume it in just one video, which might be more practical, and I go to rush a little bit through this theory, so that I can resume it in just one go. As you can see, the middle part is, you can see there are 3 letters there, the A, the U, and the Wa. And it is actually a reference to the light, how the light is dimming, and it is increasing again during the seasons. During the seasons, the first one with the A direction of winter, with the U in the middle of these two situations, and then the shadows are going larger again and associated with the letter Wa, as you can see there. So how do I associate this? Of course, it goes into 2 directions, and it is a bit like the yin and yang balance, the finding a balance of all the processes that we can imagine and how we have to deal with them. So, and that is how I also am going to explain all the letters that are in the scheme. So we have, of course, the middle section first. So we have the strong force, the A, which is so now we will deal with the universal meanings of the sound. So it is the A stands for the activity that we proceed, and the U is the middle there. So it is the current balance, or the balance of reality. The U always stands for the whole process that we are undergoing, if they are perfect or not, if it's in development or not. This is more like the reality of all the processes that we are undergoing and they are proceeding. like the W or the wa is the weak force, but it will have a strong effect. So the first one is the activity that we proceed. Then we face the reality of it, what works or what does not work, and what does work we will sense in the W or in the wa. So where will it go to? So that's the first guidance that we will use, and that is with the letter to, also to or to. So we go towards something. With to we include elements, and so in that way we also associate with the Japanese word to and the English word to. It is very fitting indeed. So where we'll go to, what are the practical limits of the environment where it belongs to? The O is always the environment. Here it is as a square, so it is in the full perspective of what we can achieve in the environment, and the T is always referring to a practical point of reference. So with the A we start to activate something, with the U we try to experience what we perceive here or receive here, and with the W we come to know what it is really, what's coming out of this process. And with the yeah, we confirm again that we're going back to the light after winter. What can we use as guidance? As the first guidance is the Ka. The Ka is also a universal, has also universal meanings. It is the distinction of our process, what can guide us to decide what is working and what is not. So the Ka or even the C is with more subtle differences we can use there to make a distinction. Ka is also used in Japanese to ask a question or to make a distinction, and ta then is of course the answer of it. So like you can say in the process what and that. So this is where we have to end. So in the that we already are concluding the first processes of division. After what, of course, we have that. After wa we can come to a practical, a functional working thing. To is you have you can see the Japanese the Katakana letters or symbols that can be compared to where it is in the system. So I assume that this divination wheel is also associated with how they formed the letters in Japanese. So I'm almost sure that there is a reference point that you can use. So we will start with, here you can still see Ka and Ta. So the Ka is of course the determination where you can try to distinguish with something, and the distinguishing results are in Ta of course. But I will explain now also in quick the Katakana letters, which you can learn to understand and to associate thanks to this context that we already have here. So To is of course also going from the light to the world, the darkness. So it is trying to focus upon the reality of things. So it goes. So it is the stick putting into the earth. Here I know what I have, and I connect to something. That is an association that you can make with the form, and it's easily made, this association, and then you know what you will connect from there. The A seems to be a little bit more complicated, but is in fact a reference point to the whole system, to what we will do in a spiritual sense, in a logical sense, in an associative sense, what we will do everywhere. The A, in a way, it's only the activity. We go forward and we will see what we'll get, but it will deal with this yin and yang system. So it will deal with 3 parts. The first part is of course like in our language, the horizontal process of activity. It will go forward and it will see where it gets, but it will also check the direct feedback, so that's the point which returns back, and also the automated finalizations of this process, like in the wa. So the a is also directing towards the realization of what is reality. So this is the way how you can associate it. It seems to be far-edged from this point of view, but once you know all the associations that you can make with all the letters and the within the system of the seasons, it will make sense. The next letter that will guide you, the K, is also the sword. It is the distinction with the sword. Again, it will fit with the A, with the automated result that you want to have. You want to create results. You want to deliberately, like in the male energy, you want to create results. And you also say, like, now here I will also make a distinction. This distinction is in several parts. It's not only cutting the things and separating the things or destroying things. No, it is maximizing its results by also adaptation, the adaptation of the A, the rolling into the situation, as you can find in the second form, and then the maximizing of its restoring balance in the third part. It seems again slightly far-edged, but it is the sword, and it is also not just a sword of destruction, it is also the sword of giving yourself to the situation and trying to make the best of it. It is also trying to restore balance in a muscular way. It wants to bring down things, it wants to distinct things, but it also wants to bring them back to balance. The U or the U is the automated results, as I already said. Now, how can you understand the letter? Again, it is like the horizontal part, it goes, and then also the undergoing of the process of the transformation of you that you want to change. But there's one extra point there. It is also trying to find a connection back to that we can also use what we are using. The U, as I said a few times before, is also all the elements of the process that we are undergoing, that maybe we are not so talented as we think that we are, but we put everything into the system. We will learn, we will try to get there. It's incomplete, but we'll try to get there. And the top thing there, it is an association to the insertion. It is what we put on the pot, the lid on the pot a little bit, and it's the reference to the heavens. The heavens are the associations with the initiative that you can have, the ideas that you can have, the follow-up that you can have. And this is guiding you in the process into the automated results. So we have also these two extra parts. It's the insertion that you can have of ideas, so it can be successful or not successful, that's up to you. And the second part is also the going that we complete the system. So that is how you have to associate the U. If you want to understand what is going on in the letter, that is exactly what is going on in this letter. And it is comparable to the Wa, except there in the Wa, it's only the automated result that you get back into the system. So it's the idealism itself has no effect on it. So if you put some idealism in it, some initiative in it, whatever you put into it, only what is automated as a result and it gets a result, that's the only thing that you get. That's the only difference between the Wa and the U, as you can see there. So I already explained some letters, so these can help you to understand and to remember also these Japanese katakana letters. Last one is from the letters is the Ta. It doesn't explain itself so easily with this letter. So then we will of course associate it with our own theory, the sound informed theory. So what is the T and what is Ta? The T we know is at a point somewhere let's say in a circle. If we put a circle as the A, The T is somewhere in the circle where we can notice a difference, where we notice a function. It's somewhere in between there where we can find it. But if we associate the background of a full cycle, of a cycle of the seasons, of course, it is not only there where we can find it somewhere in the beginning of a cycle, when you put it into the system as a function, we also have to end with it and the function. So there are two parts where we have to land. So it is in the transformation, we notice certain functions. That's the first cross point, and the second cross point is where we put it back into the system. So that is how we can associate ta as a functional, discovering a function or something that is that we can use somewhere in this whole system of seasonal changes. That's the letter ta. That's how we can associate it. I hope that's enough for you to associate it as well, but it helps me anyhow. And the last letter, the ye, and I will not explain more letters of Japanese anymore, because I also want to focus mostly on the Futomani. But that's the ye. So the ye is a returning back into the system and also returning back to the light. So in a way, the horizontal plane is also like the horizon, indeed, as you can see, where the light can go up again. The S is which you can, this form in the ye, as you can see there, is the turn. It's the way how you can find back your way into the light, also, but in two ways. So from the ground to the light. So the ye is also functional. It's finding a way back to from the earth to the light. That's more or less what it is meaning. But I will explain it better later. So what did we have already? We had already a first part of the process. So we had we started from the light in spring, for instance, and we tried to figure out what we can do, what we already found in our perspective. So we go to something with ta. So we make something from it. And we try to make something from it with the a, and with the u. This is our tryout. With the a, we're just doing it. We're just trying something. So we are in our activity, which is simply are what we are. And with the u, we are experiences it, what is real or what is not. With the ka, we make the distinction and we try to figure out what is real and what is not. And with the ta, we find out what is real and what was not. After the process that it also concludes itself after an automated effect there after the wa. That was the first part of the process. This process was very much going down and deeper into the reality itself, into the gravity of things. So the gravity is also it's getting, the light is getting dim. It's going down. It's going into the nu point or the now point. So it's trying to find a connection on something. These words will find a connection in letters somewhere else, but I already express them here just slightly. So the A is activity horizontal, the W is going back to what it really is in the automated weak results, and it will try to find a reconnection with also available in the letter U. And with the ye, you experience it and you find what you need to find what you need to get back into the system. So what will guide you in the ye process? So you can see there are three. It's always, you can always find the other letters On the opposite side there, if you can see, there are two extra letters which guides the the turning back is so the re is then of course the you make a connection with all the activity there so that you can adapt, that everything can be adapted. And the me is of course it is understood on all levels and that you make a connection with all levels. These are the new Japanese katakana letters that you can still associate with it correctly and then understand the meaning of the sounds. So let us first resume very quickly what we already have found into this yin and yang system of letters. So we have a certain desire to make something happen, but we have to understand what we are doing. So what is it that we activate? We activate it with the A, we try out with the U, and we check out its automated effects. And of course, we also try to reconnect this into the system. So with to, we include something. With ka, we divide. With so it is like saying, what is it? The wa itself is the automated effect of it, and that or ta is the reconnection. So it is connecting something so that you can use it in a system. The other way around is the yeah. So we say the yeah when something is successful. So it is a success that we included something into the system and it will work to reactivate it. What do we need for it? The me. It is of course that it says it is within our reach, and the re or we can even reconnect it. We connect to it. It is not only within reach, we can also make a connection with it, and then we can realize it as, of course, this is the inner realization that was successful. Two extra letters will guide this. It is the ho and the me. The me is, as you can see, it's also the so this just before the reuse into the system. It is at the end when you have the downward sense that it is pressing down that you say like, okay, I still want to include something extra. That's the mais. And at the end, when it already has been decided what survives, you can say, okay, this we don't need much more than this. Let's face it and let's see what we have and until where it goes and where we can do something with it. So it's the whole, it's actually the limit that you can still that you have to put into the system, because then it's already going it already went down and you cannot get more out of it. So here you have to, it is a realization, you have to materialize less. So we define the limits. Why? With the mais you can still say like, okay, maybe I still include something, it's the process is still rolling, I can add something extra. Once you did this, you already have one finalization. So you have a process that was successful. You had one turning around point so that it survived. So what do we get then? If all these elements survived and we know what we have, what can we do then in the next phase? The next phase, of course, we can add a change. We can add a change into what we have. So the idea, the seed, the goal, the inner reach, we can indeed insert the extra idea, the extra thing that we want to do with it, the change that we did want to do with it. On the opposite side of the cycle is the what. And this is a reference point to the focus, the perspective, and the reach where it is. It is the limits that we have. You can recognize in it a pattern of that it is. It's not only the pattern of a place, a space, but it's also of a time schedule. It is the pattern that it fits. So you have the idea, the seed, and it fits into the field. Let's say. But not only the field of the land, but also the whole associations of time and space. So that there it will fit. These are the two next letters. Let's explain it into what we have already. So we have in the middle the A, the U, and the W. Together it is in the downward fall. You can express it as ow. It like the sound of the pain, the go towards winter. If you say now it is the expression of going to something more, it is aum, of course. So this cycle of aum is of course associated with the idea that you want to make also something more from it, not only the determination of a realization of what you have, but you also have to do something. You can do something with it as well. So let's resume what we already have from here. So we have the activity, the A, and the automated effect, the wa. Together it achieved a cycle, a process. And now with the E and the wo added, let's see what we can add extra into this automated system. Because each process actually started from an impulse towards change or maintenance. And this I express like this. So there's a rhythm into this process, and we actually connect to this rhythm, and within this rhythm there might be a small change, and we might have a small idea. Then maybe we add something, maybe we want to change something. So potentially there is not just the process of maintenance, but also of improvement. But this improvement can only be successful when it is well received. That's when the process is ongoing. So it's balancing out. It is going towards gravity, and so when you follow it well, follow your impulse well, you have to receive it well so that it can survive the downfall, because now is the downfall, of course. It will be very decisive how well you interpreted this force, so that it can also survive, that it will not bring you down because you're not ready for it, or it is an impulse that doesn't bring you much, because the gravity will become stronger then, and it will bring you down instead of getting you to roll further into the system. So we will try to reach, of course, its final effect in the war, in the decisive moment of survival, of course, after the while, and we will see if the pattern survived the idea so that it can complete its cycle. So there, at the end of the cycle, will be the decisive point that we can see the E or our new idea. Will it have been successful? That's only when we roll down completely at the end that we will see, did it survive until there? And if it did, then of course it will have found its strong enough rhythm to continue to cycle, to add into the cycle. And there, at that point, where the E and the W meets, it has a guiding letter there, and the guiding letter there is the SU. So how do we perceive this? How do we understand this? The U is, as I said already before, it's all the incomplete processes that we the tryouts and so on. It's the distinction of the tryout, so it doesn't matter if it's complete or not. It's the tryout of the moment. The S, as you can see there, is the horizon. So all the things, all the values on the horizon are always there. But when does it work? When does that work? On the moment, of course, when this moment in the system has found its rhythm. So only when it's found its rhythm that it can survive. The SU will decide, okay, it has a value, and this value can be found on the horizon. And it reminds me of the word sue. To sue is actually also to demand that if you put something in the process, you think it's your own rhythm, it's your own idea, and the idea is not strong enough, it will not fit in the general rhythm, and it cannot survive. So this is the moment where it is decisive. Does it still fit within the practical rhythm of that you can have it recycled? Then it will survive. If not, then it has to be eliminated. So we have the E is our idea, that's our goal, that we want to plant something. So it's the planting of an idea of a change. And this in the U, we can all, because of the limits of the U, we can only keep it so when it can survive, of course, when it survives into the system. And when will it survive in the system? It's the second letter that will guide us there. So when it will have enough power to skip and go back to our system with who is actually the H of the air, the viability. So it is like if it's viable. So when will it survive? If it can survive, of course, into this system. And then we will find back the foundation of the workable area. That's where we reach it in the WO. These are the yin and yangs into the letters as you can see. And then, of course, we have a workable system that turns around. And where shall we end this system? Where shall we end it? In which letter shall we end if we succeed to make something survive in a full cycle? After realization it's workable and it's strong enough, what we will get in the end? Again, the letter A. A, exactly as I see it also in sounding form. It's the letter which says I have something physical, I have an object, I have something which I can use. It is something which is real, it's not imagined, it's not a goal, it's not something idealistic. Now this, I succeeded to make it real. So here are all the letters again, and I will quickly go through everything once more. So what did we have already? We added a direction, we added an action, we were facing reality if it was strong enough or not, and therefore we experienced its effects. This was guided by selection, And thanks to this selection, we can select something and see that we can use it, if it's functional or not. And this whole process is guided by survival. It's headed for survival. It wants to survive into the system forever. And this is, of course, supported by usefulness, vividness, all these things that I already explained before. All the yin yangs are this, to filter it out, or if it's practical enough, if we can add it, we have to remove it, if it's vivid in the process, or if it is not. Only then it is successful to add the element into the system, yet for another cycle, and then we can really do something with it and really make a change. And this will get you to the last letters that we didn't include yet, so this gives you some opportunity to add some extras. Which are the extras? Here they are. So these are the letters we missed: the he, the mo, the si, and of course the a as well. So the A is what became, so it's the activation, the stimulation into a new process. There are a few extras here. So the extra, first we have the extra just before we finalize the process. It's the extra that we can think, okay, it's going smoothly. We're going back up very soon. Let's add something extra. That's the C. So because you realize everything is becoming something, it becomes something. Let's give it an extra stimulation to keep it running. That's the C. C is also a word which also means yes, by the way, in some languages. After we found the object, that it is real, we could also include something extra before we go into a new process. This is the extra that you say, okay, maybe I want to include something extra instead. Something extra on top, I mean. So this is like an invitation. Hey, that's also an English word. You want to include something extra. So you have already what you have, maybe something unknown, something new, some extra person, some extra ideas can still be added into the system. This is the unknown factor, but you can still include it, and that's the sound combination of hey. On the opposite of aha is of course that's you can say it's a positive thing, but it's the real thing, it's a materialistic thing, it's the idealistic thing, but it's also it can also be a negative. It's the mo. That's the minor aspect, because that is on the point. That's the extra what you can sense at the point where something is going down. The gravity is getting larger, and it doesn't need to add something. But this is the extra what you can still sense there. The mo is that you sense, oh no, I want to select even more and push the system a little bit. It's one of the pushes that you can make. But it's also a sense that you can have like, oh no, this is going down, it's not going well, I'm not doing it well, or maybe the environment is not well, or everything is pretty dark and dim. I want to select even more. It can only be selected in a negative way to limit your ideas in the process. This is the only part which is it seems to be a little bit more negative, but it is just a part when you're getting reality stronger. So what do we have then in the resume? So I'll go back. So we have the new seed, of course, the A that we planted, and where we can do something. What did guide us in this system? So we go back a few more times, and we'll add also some extra inspiration. So all the letters into the system have also 4 extra guiding ideas that will guide you to make it happen and to make it even better. So we have already explained what it's our goal. It's the goal into our next process. It's the goal that we realize it's the whole system in time and space. That's the what. And then the extras that we can associate there can be associated with sound inform and sound associations and the meaning of sounds that are associated with the environment. So I will explain them, and I will also explain how I come to them. So what do we reach as a consensus when we already have the plan where we will plant our seed? We have the so, or the values to reach, the yo, or the moment. We know the moment to connect. We try to focus also on the moment to connect. Also the content that we add or not add. And we also decide for the role to be taken in row. How do I explain it? Yeah, it can be always the environmental conditions. So what the S, as you see, is the horizon. So we focus on the horizon. That means everything can appear at every moment. The yo, that's the appearance of a bodily, heavenly body, let's say, that arises at the horizon. So it means actually where is the moment where something can appear in the sky. The N is the content, of course, where you can see here, this is a shape of the background field where you plant your seed, and it's the context, and you say like, okay, what shall we index, what shall we shape in the background, what's our working field? We can decide that in a negative or in a positive way. So we make a limit there as well, so that's part of our planning, our well planning. So this also is good to deal with. And the row is a processes so that we will match it to all the appearing processes that we can match. So it is important, if we plan our planting of the seed in the field, we have to deal with, of course, timing, placement, and so on. It's actually very logical, and it's also very easily associated with these forms. One part back, it's before we do our plan onto the field where we are working on. It's, of course, we have to plow the field, so we put some air in it so that it is vivid, so it is viable there. So it's the hu. Hu is opening up the seeds, may not, but could have been the seeds, but it's opening up of the earth with some air in it. You can associate like that. So what do we have in these situations? With the mu, what is inside? What is the content? What does distinguish itself? How can we open everything? It's very basically, very quickly associated what you can associate there. These are the accompaniments and the letters. A lot of letters that I explained there, but actually, I wanted to resume it in very quickly. So this was, of course, the situation of the preparation, and the U, as you already explained, is the whole process of processing in your mind and in your ideas and so on. So this is the end of the process where it's decisive that it will work. At the beginning of the process, it was not decisive yet. So you put something into the system, something incomplete, an incomplete talent, an incomplete idea, it doesn't matter, but you have also some guidances there that before you put that into the system. That's on the opposite side as hu. It's, of course, the place of the su. There, the element did not prove its usefulness yet, because they are on the beginning of the cycle. And what is guiding you there? So all these elements that are not useful yet, but you can put them into the system, are the things that are indirectly useful, or tu. What appears somewhere or anywhere is you. What can be used, or r, and of course what you can make an increase somewhere with win. It's the potential that you can add into it. If it's successful or not, it does not matter at this point, because you still have to process it at that point. And what will help you to make it so that this su, or this first intention that you put a lot of things into a process, what will guide you? You will be guided, of course, by I, or that's the next step there, by the yeah, by the ideas. So you have to, of the initiative, the intuition, everything with the E you put into it. You already noticed in the U there's the a lid on top, so it is the connection to the heavens. You put something in it, and but it's up to you what you put into it. Is it the right impulse? Is it the right initiative, idea to make it work? You still have to learn it. You have to to try to grip it, to get the insertion right. But if you do, you have the E, you have the initiative, and this initiative is immediately connecting to the realization, into the gravity of how things are going. So it will be directed with these 4 ideas, and these are the guiding things that will guide you to make it work. So it will be directed for which purpose? To become more practical, or T, to remain distinguishable, or Ki. So that makes a difference. This Ki is of course the splitting into the moment of as you can recognize it in the symbol. You will find the connection, or Ri, and you will distinguish its differences, or Ni. And this of course will lead to the opposite side, to the results. That's already what you have in mind. So this initiative will have the goal always to land somewhere where it can find the goal to survive. So in Wo, it will prove its values in So, and it will find its timing in Yo, its correct timing. It will find its own place in No, and its own role in Ro. These interpretations are associated with the sound meanings and the forms, but you can already recognize them. We're almost there. So one of the last letters we still had was Mo, and what are the guiding parts of this? I sense it as a negative thing, but it is actually, it's your working environment, and it's your limited working environment. So you put an idea into the working environment, you have to deal with the working environment, even if it is limited. So you have to work with it, if you're talented or not, if you're poor or not, if there are good circumstances or not. Always have to deal with these things. What can guide you? O is in general a process that you can get some extra time, so you can put it into some phrases. You don't have to do everything immediately. No, take your time. You can do it in phases. So that is one of the advantages of this letter, and this will, thanks to dealing with these conditions, that you can put it, you can change something over time. You will wait for Re, or the right moment, to reactivate or activate something. Ko is then, of course, as you can see, it's the place. You depend on the place where something fits or not, and this can lead to Ke, or to an elimination of what you put into this input into the work or not. This is what you have to deal with, otherwise you're not doing it well. And this will lead finally to A, or A, so that will get you to a physical result, which are the qualities that inspire you to make a good result, a physical result. Is, of course, it has to be alive, or Ha. You have to it has to distinguish itself from other things, or Ka. It will have to connect itself to or Ya, and it will also make connection to all what you have, or Ma. These are qualities of the letter A associated with the sound letter meanings. And then, of course, we still are left with 2 parts. The first one, which we still didn't explain thoroughly, was the C. So this is at the moment where everything already felt down, and so we're already going to know what we will get at the end. So we cannot put something extra in the system anymore. So it is a fatalistic moment still, just like Mo. It's fatalistic, but fatalistic in a negative sense. C is fatalistic in a positive sense. So because it's going to run further, it's going to run its course, And there we can deal with, as you can see, with all initiatives that can appear on the horizon. It's the moment, that's the cup, the horizon of all the values that can appear there. And it will have to deal with 4 inspirations. The na, it's the picking order that we will have to deal with. There's a certain picking order in what before it's materializing itself. It also has to deal with the correct timing, or yi. And of course the automated effect, we know that already, of all things that are involved. And also everything can that has a value can also be taken as a value, and that's the negative thing in it as well, because anything can still appear here. This is basically the inspirations. I'm not going much deeper into it now because I don't have that much time. I'm already resuming it. And then at the end you have the unknown factor as well that you can still add. So the A is the last push forward, because before the process is finalized. So it can give you an extra attention that you can say, okay, this is an extra, I'll still add it into the system. What can inspire to do so? It's the selection itself of elements, or ne. It's the effort to do something in general, so that you want to finalize a project. You put some work in it. This will all help you to make it happen. Se is realizing that there is that just by realizing it, by making a realization, it will also make things happen automatically. And the te at the end means that every functional aspect can also be used. If it's functional, it can be used, so you can use it into the system. This is basically all the meaning of the letters based upon the meaning of the sounds, and you can understand this whole system of seasonal associations and the letters inside it a little bit better. This was an extra as an addition to my book, The Application of the Word. As you can see, anything that you add into the system, if it's weak in su or lazy, or a fresh initiative in the beginning of a realization, it doesn't matter. If you put the whole process into a process, it is guaranteed that it will lead to something. So I hope, so within 1 hour I could explain actually everything which was related with the Futomani, how you can understand it from the meaning of sounds, and it's an addition to what is already written in The Application of the Word. You can find the study also as an ebook on Trafford.com. You can also find it elsewhere at Amazon.bol.com and so on. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This was Gerard van Was for this time. Subscribe to YouTube channel if you like, and there's also a website. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.